there was a light previous to designation that filled all existence. This is previous to the terminology of Ein Sof. This light just filled all existence. And it comes down in the shape of a square, you see, in 2 dimensions, or the cube in 3 dimensions. Now that 3-dimensional cube is in the tefillins, the head and the arm, and also in the Kaaba. And the concept of that's the primal mother. That's the primal feminine jouissance. That's the primal feminine. So everything is derived from this primal feminine. And then when a desire rose within that primal feminine to multiply, or the normative role of the mother, that's when the concept of Ein Sof comes in. There was no limit to this, no limit. And there's a limit, there's a level beyond the no limit. And that's the square. And that square is the final letter Mem. And that final letter Mem, which everything derives out of, the Mem is the 13th letter, 13 attributes of mercy. 13 is Echad. But the letter Mem in all languages relates to the mother, the mare, mom. See? Well, the word Om. The primal sound is this letter Mem before anything. And that comes down as this cube or as the square, which goes along with my Aleph and Samek, which I added on. This is primal. Strangely enough, in the past few days, the past couple of weeks, I've been losing a lot of followers. And I look to see how many followers I'm losing, because there's a one-to-one correspondence with how deep my videos are and how many followers I lose on this channel. So I expect to lose more with this deep, deep understanding of the feminine. This understanding is that everything was previous to Ein Sof, an Atzmutz level, a 606, which comes down as the Ruth character in the Bible. And the whole idea of, we'll do something like Zim Zoom, which comes out to be 266, which would be Aleph fully spelt out. And a very surprising thing is that Ein Sof can come out to be 466 with some thing, and that happens to be the name Shimon. And the number Yud. So when we have the principle of Ein Sof contracted into the Yud, it contracts into its same thing, because it's 466 contracting into 466. So the Ein Sof, when it contracts into the very center of the Yud, contracts into itself again. It's just a mirror of itself again. You see? And this is the feminine. And strangely enough, the Shekinah represents all this. And so does the Shabbat. These are entries into the feminine. And Shekinah, which has a beautiful gematria of 385, which is the Osea world, is also the full gematria of the angel Michael, which is me. It's 385. And there's some deep correspondence here between the feminine and Michael. Strangely enough, in Atbash, the Mem becomes the Yud. And another strange thing is in Al-Bam, the Mem becomes the Bet. So one could almost say that the Torah, starting with a Bet, starts with a Mem in Al-Bam. So this Ein Sof comes out of the square, comes out of the number 13, comes out. And remember that Mem can also be spelled Mem, which means that it's Kedusha and Din are the same, and it's completely parallel. It's the only letter that's completely parallel, because the Vav can be spelled Vav Aleph Vav. And the Nun is spelled Nun Vav Nun. But the Mem is never spelled like that. The Mem is always spelled Mem Mem. Mem Mem is 80, which is Yesod, which is what this whole materialization is of the Mem into Yesod is 80. And then Mem Mem and Mem Mem, that's 160. And that's Zelem, which corresponds to this 30-day period. And also 160 is Kayan, who relates also into this area. But the number 66, the final Mem as 600 is a magic number itself because it relates to Shofar. Shofar as the horn plus the 14 perics of the hand come out to be 600. 586 for shofar and 14 for the yad is 600. And it's a strange thing, this shofar. It's almost a phallic with a hand on it. And that's 600. And remember, everything comes out, even the circumference of Samech can also be considered almost the circumference of the phallus. And the dot inside could be the tip of the phallus. My aleph inside is the tip of the phallus within the circumference, and then the box of the female, the box, emboxment, and that's the 600. And so everything, to me, which was an add-on because it was beyond my unconscious, I had to scrape deeper to add the Mem to my Aleph and Samek. And this is the great secret. Because the Mem represents the grunt, the ground. It represents the primal thing. A feminine energy up from the ground. Forget about the masculine energy down, it's up from the ground. That's where it lies right now. Almost in the sense of in the graves. The energy rises from the ground of the graves. There's an energy that comes up from the ground. And this is the feminine energy, the returning light. And That's where I am now. Because the whole origin is in this feminine jouissance, completely into itself and its own pleasure. And from that, the world derives.